2022, I decided I was going to expand this to an international focus with the intention to go to India, which is where I'm headed now. And I ended up staying here in Amsterdam for the last 8 days. A lot of that is because I don't remember who I am as a traveler, and who I am as a traveler is the most liberated I am, certainly. And remembering who I am as a traveler is a lot about figuring out how much of me is American, how much of me is Indian, how much of me is Californian specifically in a way, how much of me is just identity I have made as a result of my life experience and the things that I have read, studied, thought about, and seen all around the world. Those are the ways that I make my identity. They're not attached to place. And we live in a time of more placelessness than ever. You know, there's kind of two ways you can look at your place, where you're from, you know. You're born someplace, and that is your place. You're from there. I was born in Madras, in Chennai, as they say now. That's my birthplace, and I am from there. But I am of other places. Certainly in time, I am of the United States more than anywhere. I travel on an American passport. I am in the United States of America. I have been most informed, certainly by California, where I've lived the longest, and as an adult, where I met the mother of my child, where I had my child. It is a place that is very different within the United States and is also unique in the world in many ways. And the part of the state that I love and that I prefer to reside in is the San Francisco Bay Area. Oakland, San Francisco, it's my home, if you will, in the United States. So there are huge parts of me that are of there, that are informed by there. Certainly you could say, for example, my views on feminism and on the rights of the LGBTQ plus community that we talk about. My consciousness about tolerance, to others is informed by the way California attempts to do that. And when I came to Amsterdam, I saw instantly this parallel that is beautiful. But also here in Amsterdam, there's a high culture. That high culture speaks to me from above and always in English, almost to show me that they can do what I am, but to ask me, can I do what they are? It's a condescending position. And I was thinking today when I was out by the canal about that, how it's similar to another place I lived for a very long time, most of the year of 2005. And for a big chunk of time in 1991, I lived in Japan. Here's that. I've said several times that the Dutch remind me a little of the Japanese. I spent a lot of time amongst the Japanese in Japan, and they have a kind of very fine style and a pride and a belief in themselves. And it's very clean and orderly. And I think it is not unfair to compare the folks here in Amsterdam with them favorably. And when I say it to them, I notice their face kind of falls or gets questioning, to which I think it is a reaction that the comparison is not favorable, when in fact it's the opposite. So then it puts me in the mind of why would they not think to be compared with the Japanese as favorable? And it reminds me again of both their colonial period and who they are today. As I travel around, until I open my mouth, they don't know whether I'm an American or an Indian or from anywhere really. And the reaction is different because I can enunciate well and my English is very clearly American English. And there's a kind of instant reaction to that is very different from 10 years ago when I traveled, or 15 years ago. And this is the direct result, I would say, of the social media era, the volume and rapidity of video, the amount of content that could quickly be spat out through TikTok or through Twitter or through Instagram has contributed to the Americanization linguistically around the world, movies, etc. And this time it's really apparent. Now, I don't know if there's a kind of racism or underlying xeno, not phobia, because they're very comfortable speaking with you, but they're condescending uh, because they believe in themselves, and I think that's healthy. It's kind of a healthy condescension, I would call it. But it's hard to get close to them as a result, I think. And that they have in common with the Japanese as well. I often felt when I was there I would never be close with them, no matter how hard I tried. And initially, sorry to say it, I get that feeling here too. I must learn Dutch, right? I must learn Japanese.